Hello and welcome to Fantasy Premier League, the D Units journey. Today I'm here with my transfer fit tips, final plugs, and above all, team selection for the midweek, for our first midweek deadline of the season in game week 14. All right, now without further ado, we haven't got much time. I'm going to be here for a deadline stream later today, tonight, whatever it is. I'm going to be tired because of the fact that obviously it's on at stupid o'clock again for me, but I'm going to do it just for the love of all you people out there that really want last minute decisions. Make sure you bring your questions, make sure you join the stream, show some love, and with that being said, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're new, and hopefully you're enjoying this content and the more that is to come later on today and tomorrow. All right, so let's get into my final thoughts and my transfer tips for game week 14. It is, it's one of them things. You've got to have players that are playing. We saw this week GW14 being rested against Liverpool for Manchester City. These are not the kind of players you want in your team. You do not want players that are at risk of being put out to pasture for a rest midweek. So hopefully you haven't got many of them, because there probably might be some rotation this midweek. I am slightly concerned with Chelsea because obviously I've got 3 Chelsea players, and I'm hoping that they normally don't play midweek and then the weekend, because they normally have the Conference League, and they play their own second team. So I'm hoping that does not happen. So you do need players that are going to be playing 90 minutes. Now, our City players are holding out that the fixtures are nicer. I think potentially they are. I think Nottingham Forest is a fixture they will win. I wouldn't even be surprised if Haaland gets back on the goal trail and gets a couple of goals here. I wouldn't be surprised. They've got to turn their form around sooner rather than later, and surely you would think at some point it is likely to change. So I wouldn't be sitting there thinking that it's going to continue forever. City players are going to start returning at some point. It's got to be around the corner, you would think. I mean, when they play Man United, maybe that's what they need to get them back into gear. I'm not sure. Which combination of forwards do you go with? Is Jackson the best forward in the game at the moment? I think potentially he is. Yes, he is close to a yellow card tightrope, and he has been walking it for a few weeks now, but he does look amazing. And Southampton fixture at home is just so delicious on paper. It's hard not to recommend him. Do you need to cover the Arsenal defence, or can you try and make the most of the budget defenders? Well, I'll give you a hint. I've actually made a Arsenal defender into my team this week as one of my 2 free transfers. So we'll get onto that and what I've done there, discussing that. Tottenham assets are too high risk to recommend. You do not know what you're going to get from week to week. They might win 5-0 this week, and then the next week they might lose 1-0. We saw it. They thrashed City, but before that they lost to Ipswich, and then they drew with Fulham. And they played against Fulham for about 18 minutes with 10 men. Like against a Fulham side that were down to 10 men. Sorry, not Tottenham. So look, you just can't be trusting them, and it is like literally Russian roulette every week watching them. They must. I do not know how their fans actually deal with that team. They do my head in. It is the end of popular picks. Chris Wood and Brian Mbuemo, they are starting to be sold. Brian Mbuemo is being sold massively, and there is every reason to be why. I've talked about them in a differentials video. His stats, his underlying data has just plummeted the last 4 or so weeks, and I think he's if you need to keep him, but the team value you had in him is disappearing very quickly because he has dropped already twice in price. I think it's likely to continue. He might even drop again before the deadline at the rate he's being sold. Let's be honest here. Who are the best options to replace these issues then? Well, I did cover them in my differential video, so if you haven't done that and you've still got a bit of time, go and check it out now, because it is definitely worth a watch. Yeah, let's just go over that. So the next part of this video, I am going to be looking at some of the transfers that have been made so far this week. Obviously, it's only a day before the deadline, so this may change a lot overnight. Lots of people have free transfers, and they might not have made it early, and they might be waiting for press conferences. I just think that a lot of the players are playing later in the week. You're not going to hear the press conference before the deadline, so I don't know why you're waiting. If you are happy with the options you're going for, lock them in, get them done now. Other than if they're actually injured. Like Isaac is a wait and see, and he is in my team, and I'm not selling him. I don't actually have any plans on selling him. It was a contact injury. I think he'll be fine. And I was never playing him against Liverpool anyway, so it doesn't really affect me anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think many people would be too bad if that was the player that had to bench in their forward 8 this week. And we'll get into that shortly. So look, Let's have a quick look at the most transfers in this week. So Saka, 100%. You can see why he's being bought and in big numbers. He's just gone ham. My captaincy pick last week was just unbelievably good because of him. Nicholas Jackson, again, the Southampton fixture is proving to be very tempting for a lot of people. Cunha's still being bought, but look, the Wolves fixture run from here on in, there's only 4 more good weeks, and then it really dries up again. I'm not sure if he's the right buy. Mo Salah continues to grow. Erling Haaland has dropped below 50%, and Mo Salah is closing in on 60. The most owned player in the game. Mad. Cole Palmer's not far behind, and probably in a few weeks, Bakary Saka may not be far behind either of those two either. So Wan-Bissaka, he's a good differential. Again, 4.4 million. He's a pretty good transfer in, and West Ham's run for the next 5 weeks is not too bad. Cole Palmer, again, he was brilliant, and I think, there's a reason why Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer are in the top 10 players transferred in here. They have got a Southampton fixture up next. Now, Southampton have been doing some weird things of late. Everyone has been targeting that fixture, and for some weird reason, it hasn't been as good as we thought it might be. Gabriel, I can see what people are buying him. He's scored yet again. That's his 3rd goal this season in 13 game weeks in the Premier League, and he's scored in the Champions League as well. This dude has really upped his goal-scoring form this season. But I'm not sure he'll play. It looked like to me that he copped an absolute thing to the head, and if it's a concussion, he won't be playing. And if it's a continuation of the knock, I'm not sure. I just feel like because it's Manchester United at home, he probably plays, but I wouldn't be expecting a clean sheet for Arsenal this week, even though I bought in Timber. We'll talk about that in a second. Mitoma, again, he's the other player I've transferred in this week. He was my Brighton and Mbuemo replacement. I really like that move. Brighton's got a nice fixture run coming up. Fantastic. Kluivert, I think there's a lot of knee-jerking here on this particular transfer. Yes, he got 3 goals, but they were all from the penalty spot. How often do you see 3 penalties given for the same team in a game? I can tell you how often it happens. A blue moon rising is pretty much the same. There's as much chance of a blue moon rising in the Premier League this season than there is of Kluivert getting another 3 penalties in a game. I can tell you that much. Pedro Porro, why are people still buying this bloke? I don't understand why so many people have bought him. Tottenham can't defend. Did anyone actually watch the games? Yes, he had one amazing week, but they literally do not keep clean sheets. João Pedro, yes, keep him coming. He's being bought in heavily, and every reason as to why he is as well. Virgil van Dijk is probably the best Liverpool defender to own at the moment. He's really good. Aina and Wood, I'm not sure why people are bringing him in. The Nottingham Forest run is officially over, and they're 100% sells as far as I'm concerned. Rashford and Ahmad are a wait till game week 17, and if they continue to play in the team, they'll be fantastic options moving up forward. Maddison and Strand Larson and Odegaard and Van Lissen, those 3 players, I'm not sure why not more people bring them in. They're low owned and they have been producing points pretty regularly, and they're not going to cost you a fortune either. Check out my wildcard draft in regards to that. Now, transfers out for the round. Let's have a look. So Mbuemo leads the way. 200,000 transfers out so far. I think this hasn't quite updated because I'm pretty sure he's about to drop in price again. Kanade, again, he's injured. He's going to be out for the next 5 or 6 game weeks, so he's 100% a sell. Is that because of weight? I think no one really had him for the Liverpool game, so if you've got him in your team, I wouldn't be rushing to sell him. I think he'll be fine for the weekend and you play him then. Erling Haaland, again, there's a reason why he's being sold. He's just cost too much money and he's not producing any results. He will be under 50% ownership by the time the game week rolls around. Smith Rowe, again, the Fulham run's not too overly good. Guardiol is a definite hold. I'm not sure why people are selling Guardiol, Welbeck and Garnacho. I feel like those players are all going to be coming in. Now, Bruno Fernandes, people are jumping off. I'm not sure why. He just got 9 points. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's a good long-term hold. Look, Chris Wood, I can definitely understand why people are jumping off. The run has officially is over. Solanke, again, he just disappointed his owners like he disappointed me the 1 week he was in my team. 100% sell. Good riddance. See you later. Don't come back. Rodgers and Watkins, the Aston Villa assets are a bit interesting because of the fact that, I don't know, they're just hard to read as a team, and they just look like a tired team, really. That's the best way of describing it. Now, lots of people are selling Saliba because of the fact that they tripled up on the Arsenal defence and then they're realising they actually need Saka. Don't know why you'd ever triple up on a team. So, look, let's go to my points for this game week. So, I was 88 points. I was pretty happy. I mean, I stuffed up. I left Kirkes and Colwell on the bench, and it was a massive green arrow up to 65,000. So, that was pretty good. Hopefully, I get another green arrow this week. Now, I have jumped the gun, and I had 2 free transfers for this game week because obviously I rolled it in game week 13. I didn't feel like my team needed anything after the wild card in game week 12. And I really wanted to address the Brighton double up in defence. I really like tripling up on Brighton. I just don't like doubling up on defences. Every time I've played a double defence this year, it has failed miserably. So let's go to game week 14 and look what I am locking in. So Bart Verbruggen will be staying in goals again. However, I did think about the Fabianski game and thought potentially he might be a better play against Leicester. I'm still undecided on that one. It could be one or the other. I think it's a pretty even fixture for both of them. I feel like Fulham are a better side than Leicester, but Leicester have the new manager bounce, which is why I've gone this way at this particular moment in time. Now, Ait-Nouri, I'm backing him in to do something against Everton. Everton just don't look like they're scoring goals. And I could be getting this horribly wrong again. Colwell's obviously got the Southampton game, so that's a pretty easy one. And I am starting Jurriën Timber against Man United. I'm not sure how many goals I'll get, but I think I prefer playing him over Hall, and I feel like he could potentially get some attacking returns. And I don't think Kirkes is going to keep a clean sheet against Tottenham. So that's my basis for the 3-man defence I've gone with. In the midfield, I've gone with Bruno Fernandes, who is away at Arsenal. But again, he's on penalties, so, and the attacking I saw against Everton on the weekend was much improved, and hopefully there's more of that to come away against Arsenal, especially since Arsenal will be pushing on to United. I feel like we could definitely hit them on the transition going back the other way. Cole Palmer is my captain. I think it's a pretty easy captaincy pick this week. I mean, he has got the Southampton fixture. You would think that means that he's likely to do well and hopefully get you bulk points. I mean, Nicholas Jackson's also a sneaky shout if you really wanted to go something a bit different. Mitoma obviously comes in as one of my 2 free transfers. So obviously, I got rid of Van Hecke and Mbuemo, and it became Mitoma and Jurriën Timber. They are straightening my lineup here. And they'll be starting. I'm hoping for points from both. Mo Salah is my vice-captain. He's playing away at Newcastle. And then obviously Saka's got the harder fixture with Manchester United at home, so he does not come into calculations this week. However, I think that there should be goals in that game, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then up front, I'm playing João Pedro away at Fulham and Nicholas Jackson away at Southampton. So I'm pretty happy with the way the team is set up. I don't think this week is going to be as high scoring as game week 13, because I don't think we're going to see massive hauls from Saka, Salah and Palmer, and also returns from Fernandes and Jackson. I think we're likely to see returns from Jackson, João Pedro and Mitoma. I'm hoping I might get some points from my defence this week. I got a grand total of 6 points from 4 players in defence last week. It hasn't been going well, and I have been leaving points on the bench, which has been frustrating. And I did mention that when I wildcarded in game week 12 that I'm going to probably end up leaving points on the bench every week. It's just hard to work out, but I'm hoping that this week I've got it right. It'd be nice if I get it right a couple of weeks. That'd be nice. I got the forward selection right last week, and I think that Isaac, I'm not too concerned with the yellow flag on him. I'm hoping that he'll be right for the weekend, because that is when I want him to be playing in the Brentford game from game week 15 onwards. So, that is definitely something, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that. He is obviously the first one on my bench. I still think that he would be the best sub if he is fit and available. And then Kirkes, obviously, I really rate him as well, and I think that potentially he could get some points against that Tottenham defence as well. But look, I think the hardest decision here was actually the goalkeeper. Like Verbruggen and Fabianski, which one do you play? Very similar fixtures in terms of difficulty and expected clean sheets this week. So let me know in the comments if I've got it right or if I've got it wrong, and I will join you for the deadline day stream later tonight. It'll hopefully be good. I will be tired, but yeah, bring your questions, bring whatever replacements you're going with, and I'll rate them for you, what you want to plan and do with your team. But I'm pretty happy with my team. I'm up to 104.2 million team value, and obviously I've now got 0.1 in the bank after I made those 2 transfers this week, so I'm pretty happy with that as well. I did have a massive green arrow at the end of game week 13. I'm hoping for I can't get any massive anymore because I'm up to top 65,000, but if I can keep crawling my way up, next step is back inside the top 50,000 and we'll go from there. But I am pretty happy with the way things are looking, and I am expecting a fairly decent game week 14. And look, hopefully good luck to you in game week 14 as well. Make sure you smash the like button before you leave. And if you've made it all the way to the end here, please think about subscribing. It would definitely help me out and make me feel a bit more happier in life. All right, thanks for joining me. That's been the D Unit.